On day 2 of my trip, I'll be leaving Carlisle and ending up at Vindolanda Roman Fort. But first, some information about Hadrian and the wall.
Hadrian was obsessed with architecture and loved designing great buildings. Here's some of them.
This is Hadrian's villa outside Rome. It's the most imposing and complex Roman villa we know about. It's bigger than the entire city of Pompeii. The Temple of Venus and Roma is thought to have been the largest temple in ancient Rome. Hadrian even built a mausoleum for himself, the Castel Sant'Angelo in Rome.
Hadrian came to Britain in person and stayed for a few months. His personal involvement in the decision to construct the wall and its design is clear. The initial design for the wall is grand, but not as grand as it would become. This is an indication of Hadrian's personal involvement. The western section of the wall from Bo'ness on Solway was built of turf, timber and earth, and it was about 20 feet wide at its base. It then continued as a stone wall for 45 miles to the east, eventually ending at Wallsend on the Tyne. The stone wall was planned to be about 10 feet wide and was freestanding. In front of the wall there was a wide and deep ditch. Here's my drawing of what the wall would have looked like. The ditch was on the north side of the wall.
This quick drawing will give you a general idea of how they built the wall with the ditch in front of it. And then, every Roman mile, which is slightly less than our mile, there was to be a mile castle, a small fort. Its north wall part of the wall itself, and both north and south walls having a gateway. Between the mile castles, and also forming part of the wall itself, were 2 turrets, which were built in stone, even on the turf wall. Now I'll head out of Carlisle. The first fort I've come to on this journey is Vindolanda Fort. It was built astride the turf wall. Part of the wall and one of the stone turrets was partially demolished to accommodate it. The fort may have begun as a turf and timber construction, but this phase was not completed, and the stone fort was begun instead. The turf wall was then replaced in stone, following a different course, so that Vindolanda was completely contained behind the wall. And here's what's left of the wall. And in case you were wondering, I'm now at the Roman Army Museum. This award-winning site brings to life what it meant to serve as a Roman soldier nearly 2,000 years ago. Inside you'll find authentic armour, weapons and even a 3D film that transports you to the edge of the Roman Empire. The museum doesn't just show the battles, it also reveals the daily life of soldiers, where they slept, what they ate, and how they trained. Standing here, you get a real sense of the discipline and organisation that made the Roman army one of the most powerful forces in history. Vindolanda was built by the Roman army before they built Hadrian's Wall. It then became an important construction and garrison base for the wall, a Hadrian's Wall fort in its own right. During this time, Vindolanda was demolished and completely rebuilt no fewer than 9 times. After Hadrian's Wall and the Roman occupation was abandoned by its imperial armies, Vindolanda remained in use for over 400 years, before finally becoming abandoned in the 9th century. The top find from the site are the Vindolanda writing tablets. The small wooden postcard-sized documents recorded the daily life of people who used to live here. These include letters from soldiers asking for socks and underwear, a birthday party invitation to the commanding officer's wife, requests for payment, lists of goods supplied, and troops deployed. They are the oldest surviving handwritten documents in Britain.